Significant developments at Arsenal as the Spotify co-founder Daneil Ek has revealed his bid to buy the club has been rejected by the Kroenkes family. The bid was in the region of £1.8 billion and was made at the start of the week. Well, Ek released a statement last night. This is what he had to say. Inaccurate reports emerged today saying I've not made a bid for Arsenal Football Club. I think it's important to correct the record. This week, an offer was made to both Josh Kroenke and their bankers that included fan ownership, representation at the board and a golden share for the supporters. They replied that they don't need the money. I respect their decision but remain interested and available should that situation ever change. Now, we have approached Arsenal for comment as well. Darren, Kroenkes is standing by their word and holding firm, I guess. They don't need the money.
Yeah, well, quite clearly that money's going to remain on the table as far as Daneil Ek is concerned. And rightly so, because they look as though they're on course for their worst season since they finished 12th in 1995. And if they don't finish in the European places, then that'll be the first time they've failed to do so in just over a quarter of a century. So it's been a really, really bad campaign. Now, there is talk that they are going to support Mikel Arteta. But for a lot of Arsenal fans, it's as much what goes on away from the pitch as it is on the pitch. And they feel that the ownership, I think a lot of fans of many clubs, not least Arsenal, will be looking at the connection between the Leicester owner and the players and the support base and seeing that there is a real genuine feel for the club in stark contrast to the detachment of the Kroenke family. Even this bit here, there is a real transparency about the way that Daneil Ek is going about his business. Again, in stark contrast to the way that the Kroenkes are. And that nickname, Silent Stan, well, he really has lived up to his name ever since he came to the club. So fans do want change. Fans do want a situation where the ownership structure does change. They feel that the club will continue to decline if it remains in the current ownership with some justification. And so they would be hoping that maybe Daneil Ek doesn't just remain interested, that maybe he might up his bid, come back, see if the Kroenkes are willing to listen to an offer that they can't refuse. Because I think as far as they are concerned, unless that happens, Arsenal will continue to go backwards.
Yeah, and that, let's say, it's not going to be music to Arsenal fans' ears, that they've rejected it and said they don't need the money. It's been confirmed that David Luiz will be leaving Arsenal in the summer. Do you think that's a bit of a start of an overhaul for the club?
Yeah, I think it needs to be. It's a bit sad losing David Luiz. I think he's meant to be a great around the place with the younger players, so that's a big disappointment. But I think they're trying to clear now to release some funds and make money available. So, and the players that are not going to get a lot of minutes and he'll probably be on big wages there, they need to free up the funds to bring in other players. Because Darren's right, it's been a huge struggle for Arsenal Football Club. Mikel Arteta would be under pressure for sure this season, and next season, definitely going to next season, he needs to start the season well, but he needs to be backed, and obviously they need to get rid of a lot of players, and I think that is the start of an overhaul. I think David Luiz is the first to go, and there'll be probably about 5 or 6 others that go along with him, because you know what, this season, when we talk about Arsenal, who do we talk about? Smith Rowe, Saka's. We're all talking about the youngsters. And so it's all been put on their shoulders to go and produce this season. So they need a bit of help. And obviously they still got the likes of Aubameyang and Partey. Hopefully he comes to the party home obviously next season, because he's been a bit of a disappointment so far. So there is still a lot of good players there, but I feel they need to clear the decks and improve that squad for next season, because they need to be challenging European football next season, that's for sure.
Yeah, you look at the table, I mean, they're 9th in the table at the moment. Arsenal, that's unheard of, really. It's just not good enough.
Absolutely, and the interesting thing is that they could fire Mikel Arteta, but who would they attract?
Yeah.
You know, are Arsenal, because of the lack of investment at the top, because of the lack of real interest, it would appear from the top, who would they attract to take over and to take the club forward? There's been talk from Mikel Arteta about now being motivated to finish above Spurs. That shouldn't be the limit of of Arsenal's ambitions on any given season. They should be in the conversation for the top 4. They should be in the conversation for the title, but they're not. And as you rightly say, what's happening at Spurs is that the pressure is being put on the shoulders of the young players who should be supported by the senior players. So as far as Arsenal are concerned, they're a mess. That players are allowed to leave for less than their market value because the transfer policy is all wrong. There isn't enough motivation and desire within the playing contingent to do well on the pitch. For all their problems this season, they are very likely to finish behind Tottenham, who have had a nightmare season themselves, they would say, by their high standards of the recent few years. So things are going very, very badly indeed. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans will be waiting with interest to see whether Daneil Ek follows up on what he has said about that bid being on the table.
Yeah, I mean, with that would bring the coffers you'd expect for investment into the squad. What do they need if you looked at Arsenal? Where do they need?
Wow, where do I start? Arsenal need about literally 5 or 6 new players, to be fair, to improve that squad. They've got a lot of good, talented youngsters. That's the one thing I'd say I've been happy with Arsenal this season, seeing the emergence of the Smith Rowes, the Sakas. I like Tierney, I like the left back. I think he's been a good signing. So they have got good players in that squad, but they need 6 or 7 to compete with the very best. And you look, and I hate harping back to the days gone by where you look at the likes of the Thierry Henrys, the Dennis Bergkamp, the Patrick Vieira, that era where they were fantastic playing against that team. You knew sometimes going out onto that pitch at Highbury, it was going to be a different game. And now I don't think you have fear factor when you're going to Emirates to play against Arsenal, and it shouldn't really be like that. So I feel they need to strengthen, and they need 6 or 7 players, but it's going to be difficult because when you're, Darren, innit, when you're not playing Champions League football, everyone wants Champions League football or Europa League football. When you're not playing that, it's going to be so hard to attract that type of player that they want at Arsenal.
Also, listen, I think they need at least 2 centre-halves because defensively they've been poor for quite some time. They need competition for the goalkeeper. Martinez sold now. That looks to have been a huge mistake.
Yes.
They need somebody who's going to provide some service for Aubameyang because he's still a top striker, but he's isolated, often not played out of position.
Has that problem gone away, the Aubameyang?
I don't think Aubameyang is the problem. I think it's the you're a striker.
If you don't get service, he has to look at himself a bit as well. He hasn't probably produced like he did last season, but Darren's right. They're not creating enough chances. As I say, it comes from the youngsters, the only ones who are creating the chances. He ain't getting enough in midfield. I think they need to buy another midfield to play a party who can create stuff, and then wide people. They need so much investment. It's crazy. I always say it, and I'll keep saying it. I don't understand when they were interested in Wilfried Zaha, why didn't they go and get him? They should have spent the money. That type of player they need that can create something out of nothing and build a squad.
I would say this. They need leadership.
Yep.
Off the pitch and on the pitch. If they got that, they get a chance.
Okay, I like it. Very succinct. Not like you.